Rich, thanks for joining me here today. I'm really excited to talk about global markets, the products and services that we have available to our clients, especially leading up to T+1. Steve, maybe I'll start with you. You've had some conversations with clients in recent times, certainly looking forward to everything that's coming down the pike for T+1. Can you share a little bit with us about what you chatted with clients in regards to implications?
Sure. I'll start with the good news. We've done this before. This isn't the first time we've seen a change in settlement cycle, and over time it tends to reduce risk, create innovation, and advancement. So we're in a good place. In the near term, the market has to find its equilibrium, and those are the conversations we've been having. We're a currency manager. We help clients with securities settlement. We help clients with investor flow related transactions, and we help clients with hedging. All of these things result in some reason for change. The first is for securities funding. So when clients are buying and selling U.S. securities in particular, they now have to consider a shortened settlement cycle. And what that means is probably more trade date FX activity. And this has different implications for different managers. We have managers who primarily have operations in Asia now have to think about transacting in U.S., and a lot of transactions that might have occurred on T+1 will now occur on trade date. So what that means now for U.S. equities, which tend to trade the most volumes at the close, is a very short period of time where trading can occur. And so for some managers that might mean pre-funding, for some managers that might mean trading on T+1 and foregoing CLS settlement. So there's a number of implications that are being discussed. For FX trading for fund flows, now we have inflows and outflows to funds, where particularly for global funds, if there's a basket of securities, you may have a large portion of U.S. equities, but also markets that trade T+2, and this might interact with the fund flow cycle. So cash management becomes more of a challenge and more of a concern. Also, as a currency hedge manager, we're rolling FX forwards for hedging purposes. They're settling monthly, quarterly, and the same thing is true. So we have this settlement of P&L that needs to be reinvested, divested from funds, and a basket approach just increases the need for very tight cash management.
Great, thanks for sharing that, Steve. Rich, what are you seeing?
So in the agency lending space, right, what we were really doing is lending on behalf of the asset managers. And in that capacity, we're not necessarily interacting with them, and their activities shouldn't be impaired at all by what happens in the securities lending world. Where we do see a change is going to be in the timing cycle. So if you think about securities lending in its current state, the majority of that business is all managed on an overnight batch process. So there's an inherent time delay built into it. In this new framework, we're really going to get into more real time, right? So what that means is if these asset managers as soon as they put their trade flow into the system, we're going to have an instantaneous view into it. So there's been technological advancements internal to State Street, as well as new partnerships with third-party vendors that are going to allow more of a reactive process to the securities lending marketplace and getting recalls out in near real time. And so what is that at the end state is it really gets to the core tenets of this enhanced settlement cycle and putting more efficiency in the market, less sell fails in the market, and really more overall liquidity in the market.
Great, thanks, Rich. Certainly seems like there's some big changes forthcoming with this, and I wonder sometimes, are clients ready, right? Markets are constantly evolving. There's regulation and things like T+1 that are changing the market dynamics. So what can Steve maybe tell us a bit about what clients should be doing to prepare?
Yeah, getting ready and preparation means a lot of conversations, and that's the phase we're in now. I like to think that every manager, large or small, will have some change that they need to make as a result of T+1. And that will differ by manager. So if you have concentrated operations in Asia, that means one thing. If you have a global team and outsource certain activities, that means another. So preparation is really driven by looking at all your workflows across your transaction types, looking at the ways you can evolve your process, engaging technology partners, et cetera. We might see an increased desire to outsource to a manager like ourselves. where we have global operations, but that might not be for everyone. So it's really an open-ended conversation that continues to evolve.
And Rich, what do you see in security lending?
Yeah, look, I think, from a securities lending standpoint, one of the biggest things that these asset owners can do is continue to partner with, our different, business partners at State Street and understand what they're doing, whether it be custody services or Steve's team, right? All of those are going to go into their investment decisions and getting us, the information we need in the securities lending world. I think, the reality of it is that, change is good, evolution is good. It's going to put, more liquidity into the market. And it's led to some interesting technological advancements, like I said, both internally with how we're thinking about things, but it's also created opportunity for new partnerships with, external vendors that are providing these post-trade services. And to reiterate what Steve said, we've done this before, right? We went from T3 to T2, and now we're shortening it to T1. And from a securities lending standpoint, the market and the participants in the market are quite resilient because of the importance in securities lending to the financial ecosystem as a whole.
Great. Thanks very much. Certainly seems like we're very well positioned in the global markets arena to have these conversations with clients as we get closer and closer to T+1, and certainly as other market advancements happen. So thank you both for taking some time today. Really appreciate it, and hopefully have another update in not too distant future.
Thank you.
Thank you.